Hey guys, my name's Angelique. I'm out here today at Smell Lincoln to take a look at this brand new 2019 Lincoln Navigator. This is an L 4x4 Reserve Edition. This thing's sitting in a showroom now. It's looking all pristine, so we're gonna go ahead and dive in. All right, so starting right in the front here, the first thing you notice is how big this thing is. It has the nice big hood. It comes down into a nice huge grille with the chrome accents. Your headlights are huge. It's all LED lights all the way around. So your headlights, your fog lights, the chrome accents all around the front, and then it goes into pretty much straight black. You do have some of your Navigator badging here. Your side view mirrors are the black color, but then your handles kind of have that chrome. It stands out instead of being straight body colored. You do have the chrome accent along the bottom, and then you will have the little side rails that pop out on the bottom. Those are also in black. You can see it does have the large window back here. This is a 3-row vehicle, so those windows extend nicely. So coming around the back, you do see your big Lincoln badging that spreads across this big wide hatch. Your tail light kind of goes the whole way. You have some more of those chrome accents. Of course, your big glass window here, which you can actually open. So that's a nice little feature to have. You do have the power hands-free tailgate I'll show you. Wrapping around, your tail lights kind of continue. Again, those are all LED. You do have your fuel fill here. Everything's in that nice black except for your chrome accents. Coming around, you have nice big wheels on this Navigator. Like I said, it is pretty much a truck, so you do get nice big 22-inch wheels. This one has kind of the dark gray with the silver. They kind of always look like they're in motion. Really nice wheels on this thing. You do see your roof racks on top. You have nice, easy access to throw anything you need up there. And you will also find your big panoramic sunroof up there, which I'll show you that when we hop inside. On your mirrors on the side here, you will notice a little camera, so it does have the technology to kind of watch that lane beside you, and I'll also demonstrate that on our ride. But overall, this is just a pretty big vehicle. It has the same engine as the Ford Raptor, kind of similar style to the Ford Expedition, but this is definitely the luxury version of those vehicles. So this is not your regular crossover SUV. This is going to be a truck, but it's going to be decked out, have all the luxury features to haul your family and even more. So to go ahead and jump inside here, as long as you have this Lincoln key fob on you, it does have the keyless entry, so that can kind of stay in your pocket, and all you have to do is reach behind the handle. Now when I do reach behind, the vehicle will unlock. I can open this door, and you will also see the side rails come out to help me get inside. So as you can see, that pops right down, makes it a nice easy step. So let's go ahead and jump inside. So coming into the door here, you can see it's pretty large. There's a lot of areas for storage, tossing things. You actually do get 2 cup holders right inside the door here. And then this is a nice little cubby. I think it's perfect for throwing your wallet or keeping change in there. And then you may notice your door handle is actually tucked inside this one up here. So it's not just a regular little cubby. This is where your door handle is. It's super easy and convenient to grab. It actually makes perfect sense once you're inside the vehicle. This is all soft touch. You can easily rest your arm there. You do have, of course, your standard controls for your window, for your side mirrors, and your lock and unlock. You will notice some of these speakers. The speakers in this have this really nice silver cover. Really makes them pop. It does have the 14 speaker system, so you'll notice those all throughout the vehicle. But then the most amazing thing in this vehicle, and especially on this door, is right here. These are going to be your controls for your seat. So they're not tucked on the seat next to you. They're actually right up here on the door. You can easily see what you're doing. And this Navigator does have the 30-way seat controls. So all of these buttons pretty much move up, down, forward, backwards. They tilt. You can adjust every little thing. And I'll kind of show you some of those settings later. But this is where you're going to find, I think, the best and most important feature on this door. So coming inside, you will kind of continue to see a lot of the different accent colors in this Navigator. Most of the inside is this black soft touch, but then you do have some of the chrome accents that we saw on the outside of the vehicle. And then you do also have this wood trimming that kind of just breaks up the darker and the silver. So it has really nice flow of colors in here. I think it makes it look a lot more premium. This is where you'll start to kind of find your vents with the chrome, and then you'll also find most of your controls for your headlights. You can adjust the brightness of your screens inside. You do have your release here to open your hatch. This is a really cool little feature. Again, with the Lincoln being a premium brand, you can pretty much adjust everything in here. So this button will actually bring in and out your gas and brake pedals. So maybe you have longer legs and you need to push them down further to the floor, or if you're shorter, you can bring those up and it doesn't kind of go with your seat. You can completely adjust that based on your leg length. So that's a really nice feature to have, and that's where you'll find your controls for that. And then of course down here is where you will find your hood release. So you can just go ahead and pop the hood. Coming in on the left side of your steering wheel here, this is where you're going to find some of the settings for some of the safety features. So you'll see a little button here, and then there's a little diagram on the side, which I'll show you later. You can adjust your lane keeping assist features, and then this of course also handles your headlights, your high beams. So right underneath your control here for your headlights and your lane keeping assist, you'll see a little circle here with 4 different arrows. So it does have the tilt and telescopic steering wheel, but instead of a regular knob where you'd pop it down and move it manually, it is all automatic. So you can just press this and it will bring it down. You can take it up and you can take it in and out, literally just with the click of a button. So coming into the steering wheel now, on the left side is where you're going to find some of your audio controls as well as your controls for your cruise control. So up top you have a knob for your volume. You can turn that up and down, and then you can also use the side arrows to skip through different songs or whatever you're listening to on the radio. You have your controls to set and resume the speed for your cruise control, and you can also change the distance at which you're following the vehicle in front of you, and then of course you can just turn that on and off. This is a nice big leather wrapped steering wheel, so everything's pretty clear to see. The buttons are really big, they're easy to press. It does kind of have some of that wood trim, just again to break it up, give it a nicer look. Coming over to the right side, this is where you'll find your controls. If you do have your smartphone connected, you can use your voice controls to dial out. You can shift through the things in your screen in front of you. And then you also have some options to control your navigation settings as well as your heads-up display, which this Navigator does have, and we will show you later. On the right side behind the steering wheel, this is kind of your standard knob for your windshield wipers. It has the automatic rain sensing wipers, so you can change those. And right behind it, you will find your paddle shifters if you would like to drive in kind of a sportier style, have more control over your shifting. The left side has the minus sign there for you, and the right side has the plus sign. So that's just another way to drive if you prefer. Coming over even further to the right of the steering wheel, this Navigator does have the ability to do some hauling if you want to pull trailers or anything. So this is where you're going to kind of find your cluster of settings that have to do with that when you're trying to back up, line up the trailer. And then you will also find your engine start stop button right on top of that here. So coming into the middle here, it's pretty impossible to miss this giant entertainment system. This is a nice big 12-inch touchscreen display. You can see it kind of sticks up right in the middle of the dash. It does sit out a little more, so it gives it kind of some depth, make it look a little cooler, I think. And then right below your screen, you will find your big vents, again with that chrome accents. You have some standard buttons here for your 4-ways, and then to control your cameras on the outside of the vehicle. Coming below that is where you're going to find your transmission system. It is a little different than maybe a standard knob. It's a button system. They're laid out very nicely right under the vents. They're kind of pushed back there so it doesn't take up space. It doesn't take away from the nice luxurious feel of this. Super easy to use, of course. P for park, R for reverse, N for neutral, D for drive. You just press those and you're on your way. Coming below that is where you're going to find your buttons. If you don't want to use the big touchscreen, you can also control everything with the actual buttons. You have a nice standard volume knob, your tuning radio. You do have some buttons to skip forward, turn on and off, and choose the source. So you'll use that if you want to play music through Bluetooth or anything else. Then you do have your settings for your climate control. Those are pretty standard. A nice big knob in the middle to control that. You can bring up your menu with that. This model of Navigator does have the heated and ventilated seats, so you'll find those buttons here for the driver and the passenger. Each have 3 settings for the heated seats and 3 settings for the ventilated seats. You can, of course, control your temperature with your knobs on the side. And then coming down, it kind of goes from the buttons into just this nice, sleek, wood trim looking area. It kind of almost looks like a coffee table right in the middle of your vehicle. You can pop both of these open, just pressing on the little button in the middle. On the one on the left side is where you're going to find kind of your power hub. So this model does have the wireless charging. There's a little pad in there, it's sideways. I'll actually show you. You can just go ahead, stick your phone in, and it will charge via the wireless charging pad. If you do want to use cords for charging or anything else you want to plug in, you will find 2 USB ports in here, and you will also find one 12-volt plug right there under a little container. So this is just pretty much your area. You can put whatever you need charging wise in there, close it back up, and you're just back to that nice sleek look. Over on the right side is where you're going to find your cup holders. You do have 2 cup holders in the middle here, in addition to the ones you have in the door. And then you also have a nice little pocket. This works perfectly for change, or if you do want to stick an iPod or your phone or something in there. But if you're not using those, you can just, of course, close those right back up. Coming down within this little middle console here, you do have some additional buttons for mainly safety features and stuff like that. You do have your option to turn off the auto stop, the engine idling setting in these vehicles. You can turn that off if you would prefer not to use that. You can turn off the parking sensors. You do have the auto hold. You do have your parking brake here. It's a pretty standard little button, and you have a knob for your different drive modes. I believe this Navigator has 6 different drive modes, so I'll show you those later once we start our test drive. So when it comes to your armrest in the middle, it is a little bit different since this is such a wide middle console. You don't really need a cushion to go the whole way. So there's 2 separate cushions for the passenger and the driver. Kind of gives you your own little armrest. When you do want to open that, there are little buttons underneath both sides. You can press one or the other, and you can open this right up. And inside you will find a huge additional storage space. You do have, of course, the top cubby on top, which is pretty deep. This holds way more than a lot of other vehicles, the little tray, but you can take that out. And underneath here, I mean, this is plenty of space. I don't even know what you would put in here because you could fit so much, but it is nice cushiony material, so you wouldn't worry about sliding maybe a laptop or anything in there. It won't get scratched because it is a nice material. In here is where you will also find your DVD player, so it does have the option for the entertainment systems, so you can put CDs and DVDs right in there. And then you will find another 12-volt plug right underneath here, so if you did want to plug something in, this is where you can do it. Toss it inside there. You can keep your tray in there, shut that up, and you're back to your regular, nice, sleekly designed middle console here. So coming across the dashboard here, you do have your big middle speaker. You will see a little bit of branding there for the Revel Ultima sound system. This is, of course, all really nice soft touch material. Beneath that is, again, the chrome accents with the wood accents, and then back down to the soft touch. So coming over, you have this nice big glove box here. You can see it spans pretty much the whole side of the passenger. If I reach over and pop that open, it's pretty huge. You could fit almost anything you wanted in there. And then there's also kind of a little thing that comes down here, so if you want to toss, keep your manual up there out of the way, and then you still have this big main opening. You can close that right up, and you can lock it. So if you do have something of value in there, you always can lock that up, and no one will be able to get inside. Going over to the other side, you will again see more of those silver kind of speakers on the door over there. The passenger side door has the same seat controls as the driver, so that's really nice. Same layout, the passenger gets everything that the driver does. So that's just a nice feature, kind of puts balance in the vehicle. And the door has all the same compartments, storage, 2 additional cup holders. So you do have 6 cup holders in total in the front of this Navigator. So coming up to the top here, you will find a bunch of different buttons. You have your standard buttons to turn on and off your little reading lights above you. And then you will also find your controls for the sunroof above us. So there's one button with an arrow pointing forward, one with an arrow pointing backwards. That, of course, will bring your sunshade open and close. What's nice is it doesn't have to fully open or fully close. You can stop that as soon as you let go of the button. It'll stop wherever you want it. So you can kind of just get half the light or whatever you want. And then in the middle is where you'll find your controls to fully open your sunroof. You can see the button pointing forward and the button pointing backwards. So if you open the whole way, press that button and it'll go the whole way back. Or you do have a button in the middle where you can just kind of pop it and it'll just open up and pop up for you. But if you want to open it the whole way, press that back button. and that'll just open up nicely for you, and you can bring it closed with the push of the forward button. Right in front of your buttons to control your sunroof, you will have two little cubbies here. If you pull down the first one, you'll see that that gives you your little mirror, so if you have children in the back, you can pop that down and look at them without turning around. If you just go ahead and push up on that, your little sunglass holder will fall down. You can tuck your sunglasses in there, pop that right up. So you have control over which one of those you would like to use. That's nice because they're usually tucked into one. You do of course have your programmable garage door openers. You can program 3 different doors into that, and that's built right into the vehicle. And just overall, the overhead headliner is black. It's nice. It kind of just stays clean, and then most of the stuff above you is that sunroof. So it's just a really clean, nicely laid out headliner, I think, in this SUV. So in addition to all of the kind of top storage you get in these different cubbies, you do have some additional space underneath. So you can see there's one big pouch, and then there's kind of 2 pockets on either side. This is a perfect area if you need to keep like some maps or an atlas or anything in the front within easy reach. For me, I immediately thought of a space to throw extra shoes. I kind of always keep like a pair of rain shoes or flip-flops or something, and it's this nice rubber matting, so you don't really have to worry about it staying dirty. So if you wanted to just keep maybe a nice pair of beach shoes or something you need to grab, I think this is a perfect place for it if you're like most of us and don't really carry around those paper maps anyway. So coming into the back seat here, that really comfortable leather seating does continue in the back. All of the seats in the Navigator kind of remind me of just like a chair you would have in your living room. I cannot exaggerate how comfortable these things really are. With these seats in the back, you do continue those heated seats. So these are the captain chairs, so there's just 2 seats here, and in the middle you will find all of your controls for those heated seats. So you can turn that on and off for both the left and right side. You do of course have that tri-zone climate, so the back seat can control their own climate. Turn on that knob, everything's digital, you get digital temperature readings, you can adjust the modes, so it's really nice for them to have that control back here. The back seat also does get its own controls for your media. You can see the volume, clock, and to seek to go through different radio stations. So it's really nice to have that feature in the back, so the driver and passenger don't really have to worry about it. The kids back here can just handle that for themselves. Also in the middle here, you will find more of your charging ports and everything. If you open the one on the left side, you will find 2 additional USB ports. In the middle here, you will find another 12-volt plug. And then on the right side, which is really nice to have, you will find a 110-volt plug. So that's like a standard house outlet. You can charge laptops or anything with that. That's really convenient to have back here. Also in the middle here, you'll see this little kind of pouch with the chrome accent. You can just go ahead, pop that right open. It'll come down, and you have 2 nice big cup holders right in the middle there. So that's a really nice way to put that, tuck it up in there if you're not using it. And you have this big open floor space here. On the back of the seats here, you do have these extra little storage pouches. You can see there is kind of that extra elastic band. In a lot of vehicles, this may just be a netting or something tight where you can't fit much in here. So it's nice that they added that extra little give, flexibility. You can actually fit a decent amount of things in there. So coming over to the door here, you can see that those speakers do continue throughout. It again has that nice silver thing, so it really stands out on the door too on either of the back doors. That wood trim continues. You do have nice little pockets here to throw coins or anything. And again, the door handles are actually tucked in the same pocket. Really nice, really easy to use back here. Above the door, you do also have your handles. This thing does have 9.6 inches of ground clearance, so if you did want to take it on some trails or anything, your backseat passengers can go ahead and hold on. Coming up, you'll find your vents. Since there is the big sunroof in the middle, these kind of have to be pushed off to the side, but you can bring them all the way in. You can tilt it all the way in or out, so you do have kind of some customized options there. If you want the air blowing directly on you, you can turn it away. So I think those are nice little vents. They kind of fit pretty seamlessly up there. You do have another handle up top here, and then you will find your overhead reading lights, which you can turn on and off. Since these are the captain chairs back here, you do have the nice little walk-through space, but if someone is sitting here and they want to just kind of lounge, you do have the armrest, which you can pop right down. Again, it's kind of pretty much just like a chair. This is super comfortable, and if you reach over to the left side, you'll find a little handle. You can pull up on that, and you can lean this back, and you can pretty much just lounge back here, and it's super comfortable and super spacious. So this Navigator is the 7-passenger big SUV, so there are 3 seats in the back. So you can of course just climb in and you can walk right through, but I'm also going to show you how to pull these seats up if you would like. There's actually 2 options. One is a standard handle on the side, which you can grab, and the whole seat will be pulled forward, or you'll actually find a little button right here in your door behind the seat belt. You can just press that, and you can see it unlocked, popped right up, and then you can just go ahead, slide that forward, and you have a plenty big opening to climb in that 3rd row. Now, climbing back here, this is an SUV that was truly made to haul families, to haul a lot of people. It's not like a small crossover where they shoved a little tiny 3rd row in the back, but no one can really fit. You have plenty of space back here. Even if I were to pull the 2nd row back, I still can sit back here completely comfortably. I'm 5'7", I have plenty of room for my legs, I have plenty of room for my head, and then if you do kind of want some customizable options and really lounge back here, you'll actually find buttons on both the left and right side. One has an arrow pointing forwards, one has an arrow pointing backwards. You can go ahead and push that, and you can recline the 3rd row. So you don't just get those extra comfort features in the 2nd row. Even in the 3rd row here, you can recline this thing back. You have plenty of space, the leather continues, and it's super comfortable to just lounge back here. Coming over into your armrest area, you can see it's perfectly comfortable for me to just rest my arm here. You do have 1 cup holder in the right side here, and you will have 2 cup holders in the left. That's because this right side seat is by itself and these 2 are connected. So that's where you'll find those 2 cup holders, 1 on the right side. There is also an additional USB charging port on either side. So the 3rd row has 2 charging ports in total. And then there's also extra little storage areas here. It's pretty much big enough for like my whole arm to fit. So if you wanted to throw cell phones in there, throw keys in there, you do have plenty of options for this space back here. There are 2 vents right above you, so the 3rd row is not forgotten about when it comes to the climate, air conditioning. These can be adjusted, blow straight back, you can spin them around. So there's plenty of convenience features back here in this 3rd row. And the best thing about it is they're super easy to fold up and down. I'll show you how easy when we jump in the back. So coming around the back here, it does have the hands-free power tailgate. So even if the vehicle is locked, as long as you have that key fob on your person, you just go ahead and you can kick underneath here. It will sense it. It does not open until your foot leaves from underneath the vehicle, and it'll pop right open for you. Now this is the Reserve L edition, and what that L stands for is a long wheelbase. So we do have a little bit of additional space back here, which is really nice because even with this 3rd row up, you can see how much additional cargo space we have back here. So coming over to the left side here, we will find all of our buttons to control the 3rd and 2nd row seating. You will see there's 3L, 2L, the forward, backwards, 3R, and 2R. So the 3L and 3R stands for your 3rd row. You have the left side and the right side. So if you do want to go ahead and put those down, I can just press the 3L and the left side will go down. And I can press the 3R and the 3rd row right side will go down. So you can see that happens all in one automatic swoop. You don't have to touch anything. The headrest folds down. That is super easy. And then look at this space that opens up. You have huge amount of space back here. If you did need even more space, you wanted to fold that 2nd row down, you just go ahead and you press the 2L. That'll fold down the 2nd row. And you can press the 2R and the 2nd row right side will go down. So you can see just from the back here, literally the press of 4 buttons and everything folds down completely flat and you have a ton of space back here. when you do have everything folded up, you just go ahead and you press some buttons and everything will fold right up for you all at once. You can also split that and have one side fold up and the other side not. But imagining that that third row is up, we do still have enough cargo space back here. You'll see kind of a few different handles. You can go ahead and pull up on those. This further one, you get kind of a pretty deep cubby on the left side and then a more shallow cubby right here. This is just additional storage, really perfect place to store your tools or anything that may get muddy. In front here, you'll kind of see a little handle. You can grab it either way, whatever's convenient. This will fold right out and you have an additional cubby that matches the one behind it, and then you can use this for storage, or if everything's folded open, you'll see that this is where you will find your jack. So you reach in, you can pop this up, and this is where your jack will be stored. Also your funnel, so no one can siphon the gas out of your vehicle. Pop that down. If you open it this way, you can just get into that storage area. So you do have a few different options with your extra cargo space back here. Really convenient, really nicely laid out. Every little bit of space is used. You do have your cargo tie downs on the side if you want to put a net back here or anything. And then on the right side, you will actually find an additional 12-volt plug up there. So if you wanted to plug in an inverter or anything back here, you do have the option to do so. So when you're finished back here, even though this is a fairly large vehicle, it sits pretty high. It's really nice that this door doesn't go too high. You can reach up and you can grab this handle here pretty easily. There is also the button you can press and that will close it. Or if you do unload something, your hands are full, you can go ahead and take advantage of that hands-free power tailgate and you can kick under. The vehicle will beep and it will actually just completely close for you. So what's really nice about this SUV, which has been changed in a lot of SUVs nowadays, is you do still have the option to just open up the glass. So maybe it's a nice day like today, you're at the park, you're at the drive-in movie theaters, you don't want to open the whole door. Even if the vehicle is locked, as long as you have that key fob on you, you can reach under. You'll actually see little diagrams. The one on the right side, there's a button that opens the full hatch. On the left side though, there's a little button, you press that. And this glass here will unlock. There's a little handle here and you can just open up the top here. So that's a really nice feature to have. It's something that is kind of overlooked a lot nowadays with the newer SUVs, but you can see how much that really just opens up the vehicle, gives you nice airflow, gives you nice view. I really love that feature in this Navigator. So first and foremost, with the seats in this thing, they are that 30-way adjustable seats. So you can really make sure that you fit perfectly in here. You can bring up the sides so it kind of hugs you. You don't move around at all. I am super comfortable in this seat. I can actually bring the pedals up to meet me or push them further depending on where my legs reach. So that is one thing I will say. You do not feel like you're in a car. You feel super comfortable, super relaxed driving this Navigator. It does have the same motor that you do find in the Ford Ranger. It's that twin-turbocharged 3.5 liter engine. I believe it puts out somewhere around 450 horsepower. I think it's 510 pounds of torque. So this is a big SUV. It is nothing to be messed around with. But with that being said, it's pretty easy to drive. The steering kind of feels very responsive. You feel like you're almost floating around in this thing. It's heavy, but it's not too heavy. The Ford Motor Company, which produces Lincoln, it did shift over to aluminum bodies on a lot of its vehicles. So it made it a little bit lighter, but you still get enough weight that you really feel grounded. You do also get those trailering abilities with this Navigator. So that weight is nice because it allows you to tow up to, I think it's somewhere between 8,300 to 8,700 pounds, depending on your configuration. So this thing definitely is a truck. It drives like a truck, but anyone can drive this thing around with no problem. When you're driving this Navigator, everything is within easy reach. The screen right in front of you is nice and big and you can control everything with just this little knob here on the right side. So if you do flip up through that, you'll see that kind of a screen appears on the right side. you can see whatever you would like to see in that moment. So you can see your trailering info, you can see your tire pressure, you can go up and see your fuel economy, your trip routing, your mileage, everything, or you can just leave it off. I kind of like it just left off. It makes everything really sleek. It doesn't distract you too much. Your speedometer in the middle here, it is digital, and so there's not a bunch of numbers shown all the time. It only shows you where your speed is. So that's nice, because again, with the distraction, some vehicles nowadays have so much going on, you don't even know where to look. So it's pretty much just blacked out most of the time, unless there is pertinent information that you do need to see. So aside from that infotainment screen in front of you, you do also have this big 12-inch display. It is really easy to use because it's touchscreen, and all of the icons and apps are very large and they're really easy to see. So you can see your main menu down bottom here, your audio, phone, navigation, apps, and settings. We are in the settings right now, which you can just scroll through. There's 2 pages. You do have different options, like you can set your profiles, you can adjust your display settings, you do have the Wi-Fi hotspot, your Bluetooth control, your sound settings, your clock. Anything you pretty much need is easily accessible in that settings menu. And then of course you can just go to your navigation, and that will bring up your nice big navigation screen, which is easy to adjust. You can zoom in and out. You can set your location where you would like to go. So that's just super easy to use. And then you can always pull up your home, and that will split your screen and show you your music or whatever else you would like to have there. You can see we have the heated steering wheel. So you can have pretty much all of your go-to items right there, since it is such a large screen, and you can see a bunch of different things at once. If you go over to settings and you scroll over, and you can see there's a little option here for multi-contour seats. So you can press that, and that will bring up a ton of different settings for you to adjust the seats and adjust the massage feature of these seats. And yes, I said you can get a massage right here in your seats. If you don't feel comfortable going to that through the screen, even if you're, say, on your audio screen, with your seat controls on the door, there is a button as well, and you can press that massage button. Your seats will automatically start massaging you, and it will bring up the settings, and you can adjust all of that from the door or right there on your screen. So right now, the top and the bottom of my seat are actually moving, and they're giving me a massage as I drive. I don't really know what more you could ask for in a vehicle other than that. So if you're not looking at the infotainment screen in front of you, and you're not looking to your entertainment screen in the middle, you can just use your heads-up display. Now that works really nicely in conjunction with the kind of blacked out infotainment system. Since you're not getting all those distractions here, the really important information is projected right in front of you. It's lined up with the road, so you're never looking down or taking your eyes off the road. You can see your speed. This one actually will register speed limit signs, and it'll show the sign next to your speed. You can see how many miles you have left in your gas until you're empty. You can see the temperature, and you can see the time of day. You'll also see a little button on the steering wheel that says HUD with a little music symbol. So that stands for the heads-up display. You can turn that on. If I did have music playing, the song would also show in my heads-up display. So you can kind of add things or take them away as you see fit. You do also have your little diagram up there for your lane keep assist. So you'll see there's 2 white lines, and then there's green on either side of them. That means that the sensors in the vehicle have picked up the white lines, and they are being registered. My lane keep assist is on, so if I do start to veer, the vehicle will actually pull itself back into the lane. I'm going to try to demonstrate that now. Of course, you do always want to keep your hands on the steering wheel. This is not meant to drive the vehicle for you, but if you do start to drift, it will pull you back in. So you can see, for demonstration purposes, my hands were completely off the steering wheel, and the steering wheel physically pulled the car back into this right lane as soon as I started to drift over that middle lane there. So that's a super nice, convenient safety feature to have. and it will just kind of make sure you're always staying alert, always staying in your lane. Just a nice little backup. That heads up display and those sensors will also of course warn you if there's a vehicle in front of you, because it does have the adaptive cruise control. So if I do want to set that, I can set my speed and it will register the vehicle in front of me, whether I choose 1, 2, or 3 little lanes away from me, and the vehicle will automatically speed up or slow down, adjusting to the speed of the vehicle in front of me. So you can see all of that right on your heads up display right in front of you. So now we're just gonna make a U-turn here. Check out the turning radius, turn us all the way around. And that was actually pretty good. I mean, this thing is definitely not a small vehicle. I didn't really have high hopes, but I think I was almost within the lines there. And I would say a lot of that has to do with how easy this steering is. So now I'm gonna go ahead and try to demonstrate the blind spot monitoring for you. I'm in the right lane, so as vehicles start to approach in my left, you will see a little diagram light up in the side view mirror there. It's a little orange dot, so that will light up and let you know if someone's there. If I do happen to turn on my turn signal when they're approaching my blind spot, you will see that it actually flashes at me to get your attention and let you know that it is not safe to pull over into that lane. So like I showed before, the little knob here for your drive modes, it does actually have 7 different drive modes in this specific model. So if you do turn that, they'll pop right up in front of you. You can see now we're in normal 4x4 auto. But if I do turn that, you can go this way, and there's regular normal, there's conserve, which of course just will get you better gas mileage. And then there is excite, which is kind of like a sport version, makes it a little more fun to drive, a little more responsive. If you go to the right, there are different drive modes for slippery, deep conditions, and snow climb. So with this being a larger full-size SUV with the 4x4, those 9.5 inches of ground clearance, it can definitely get you out of some tough situations. So you can always toss that thing right into slippery or deep conditions, and you won't have to worry about getting through any snow or anything like that. So now I'm going to demonstrate that active park assist. There's a parking spot on the left side here. I'm in drive. Go ahead and engage that. Hit the left turn signal, it will search for parking spots on the left. As you're driving past it, once the back of the vehicle hits that spot, it will pop up. We're in this kind. You can see it'll show the perpendicular parking spot. It did find it, telling me drive forward. Once I get to the certain spot where it wants me, space found, release the steering wheel, shift to reverse. The steering wheel will actually begin to turn itself. It will pull up the backup camera. You do hit the gas. As I hit the gas, the steering wheel will continue to adjust itself. You can see the predictive lines adjusting on the screen. It does, of course, continue to tell you, be prepared to stop just in case, but you can see I am not touching the steering wheel. You can see the vehicle beside me. It'll go ahead and pick all that up. The steering wheel will continue to turn itself, guide you right back into the spot. The sensors will beep to let you know when you are getting close to a vehicle. As you can see, when you get too close, it'll tell you to stop, shift to drive. The steering wheel will turn itself. Go ahead, release the brake, shift forward, stop, shift to reversed. Go ahead, release the brake. It will adjust itself, straighten itself out. And all I'm doing is controlling the brake. There you go, you can back up, stop, shift to drive, straighten itself out. And as you can see, it kind of wants to get it as perfect as possible, so now it's just being nitpicky, straightening itself, drifting back. And finished. Go ahead, throw it into park, and you can see we are perfectly in that perpendicular parking spot. So that is probably the most useful and the coolest feature I've ever seen on a vehicle to date. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed my review and test drive of the new 2019 Lincoln Navigator. If you'd like to come down, check out this vehicle and more, you can stop right off Route 30 in Greensburg and see us, or just visit us online at smelllincoln.com.